After 10 years and two very brutal bear markets, I believe now is the time to take hold of your financial future and start educating yourself. Hi, I'm Joseph Gilbert, an institutional stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities in Irvine, California, and host of How to Invest in a New America, heard daily from 4 to 5 here on KSPA and KFST. Unprecedented volatility has paralyzed investors. In fact, there are millions of investors just sitting on the sidelines watching as literally a parade of financial opportunities pass them by. For 27 years, I've been actively trading and advising both institutional and individual investors to my techno-fundamental approach. If you're having a tough time with the stock market and you need a new trading partner with some fresh ideas to help get you back on track, then call me at 888-668-9562 or log on at howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. The number again is 888-668-9562 or howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. Call me and let me help you get back on track. Newport Coast Securities, member FINRA, SIPC.
This program does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Astor Broadcast Group, its employees, or sponsors.
The opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff, management, or advertisers of this station, and any investment advice given is for educational purposes only and may not be suitable for all investors. Joey Gilbert is a registered representative with Newport Coast Securities, Inc., a broker-dealer and a member of FINRA SIPC. This document should not be regarded as an offer to sell or as a solicitation of an offer to buy any securities. Specific recommendations can only be made upon request of the client after a full review of their suitability has been conducted by the investment representative. Risk tolerance, ability to withstand loss, diversification, and level of understanding are important factors in determining appropriate investments. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results.
And now, Newport Coast Securities is proud to present How to Invest in a New America with your host, institutional equity strategist, Joe Gilbert.
All right now is the time to take hold of your financial future and start educating yourself. It's time to get serious about learning how to make money in the stock market. Good afternoon and welcome everybody to How to Invest in a New America. I'm really glad you could join me. Boy, do I have a treat in store for you guys and gals today. I'm honored to be here. It's a real pleasure talking with you every day about how you can get better at this battle for investment survival. And listeners, the stock market is an absolute battle. Wouldn't you agree? Now I want you to be armed and ready for battle, okay? Continuous improvement is the goal here, friends. So I really appreciate you tuning into my show every day to learn more and more about the market. No opinions, just straight talk about high performance techniques and strategies that you can use to get better results. Okay? Hopefully you're learning something new that you won't hear anyone else talking about. All right, hi everybody, I'm Joe Gilbert. I'm an institutional equity strategist with Newport Coast Securities in Irvine, California. And I'm your host for the next hour. Now, if you have a pen and paper handy, that'd be great because I'm going to cover a lot of meaty details that you're not going to want to miss out on, okay? Remember, this is professional, detailed information about how you can get better at picking the big winners. All right, now if you're listening to the show for the first time, this is Southern California's newest innovation in talk radio education. Now today I'm going to go over a professional checklist that I want all my listeners to review. So take notes, please, okay? This is an educational show. Now, I want you to, this checklist is about stocks that you're considering to buy. I have a fundamental checklist of items that'll give you a strong routine to use to learn how to professionally and properly analyze a stock idea. All right, you got to know how to analyze them properly, okay? So I'm going to start off and I'm going to go through about 20 or 22 different items that I want you to scrutinize before you ever even consider buying a stock, all right? Now, the first 5 things are, you can only find these proprietary measurements, I might add, in Investors Business Daily or on MarketSmith, which is their charting software, which is, absolutely a professional tool. If you have Investors Business Daily, combine it with MarketSmith, You don't need anything else. You don't need an opinion. You don't need to read an analyst's report. All the professional data that you need is right there, and you can't get it anywhere else, all right? So the first 5 items on our checklist, you can only find them in Investors Business Daily. It shocks me a lot of times when I hear people say how much they're into the market, but they don't read Investors Business Daily. That just blows me away. All right, that information in that paper, if you know how to use it, and what I'm trying to teach you about, can certainly lead you into the very best performing stocks. It's proprietary, and it's only on Investors Business Daily. They have a website, investors.com, and they also have a charting software tool called MarketSmith, which, by the way, I highly recommend anyone who's serious about making money in the market, go to marketsmith.com and sign up for a 3-week trial, all right? Everything you need to properly evaluate a stock is right there for you on MarketSmith, investors.com, and in Investors Business Daily. It's professional information that's proprietary. You can't get it anywhere else. I want you to understand that, all right? It's very important information. And if you're not looking at it, then you're not taking this game seriously, all right? Everybody tracking with me on this? Remember, this is institutional data. It's professional, and William O'Neill started the paper to give this information to individuals like you and me who never would have had access to it before. All right, so straight up, it's the best source of data for professional. If you don't want to listen to opinions, all right, and you want just facts, I like to operate with facts and what's the market doing. And I personally would not want to operate without those 3 resources. All right, so the first thing you want to look at on the checklist, and write this down, all right, it's the earnings per share rank. All right, now what Investors Daily does is they take the last 2 quarters of earnings, the percentage increase, and they blend it with a 3 to 5 year growth rate, and then they combine it and rank it from 1 to 99. And then they compare it to every other stock in their database. So if your earnings per share rank needs to be 80 or higher, all right, that means your company is in the top 20% of all companies in the entire marketplace with respect to earnings. The last 2 quarters and the 5-year growth rate, which is the C and the A in CANSLIM. So the first item on your checklist is earnings per share rank. Is it above 80 or not? That'd be a yes or no, and this is a checklist. All right, number 2, you want to look at the relative strength rank. Now, this is a proprietary rating. You can't get it anywhere else. And what they do is they take the price performance of a stock 4 quarters ago, 3 quarters ago, 2 quarters ago, and last quarter. Now, what they do is they put a 20% weighting on 4 quarters, 20% on 3 quarters, 20% 2 quarters ago, and they use 40% in the most recent quarter. And they combine all that, and then they measure it against every other company, and it gives you a rating from 1 to 99, with 99 being the highest. Now, if it has a 99 relative strength, what that means is your stock has outperformed 99% of all other companies in the marketplace. Now, for my checklist, I want the relative strength to be a minimum of 75. All right, so that's the second item on the checklist. Then you want to look at an SMR rating. Again, proprietary only to Investors Daily. But it's an absolute must that you look at this information, friends. It's a sales, profit margin, and return on equity. And they blend it. And in my opinion, you want to look for an A or a B on the SMR rating. You want the very best companies that are number 1 in their particular fields. Okay, so on the checklist on SMR, it has to be an A or a B. Everybody with me on that? The next thing I would look at is the accumulation distribution rating. Now, that's also only in Investors Daily, and I hate to keep repeating myself. I'm not paid by them, but this is information that I use, and I'm teaching you how you can get better at analyzing stocks properly. This is information you have to have. So the accumulation rating, you want it to be an A, all right? The earnings per share percentage increase last quarter versus the prior year. last quarter, and it must be up at least 25%. Right? I like it to be 50%. So we've got earnings per share rank, relative strength. We've got the SMR rating and the accumulation distribution. That's what, 4. The fifth thing is you want the last quarter to be up at least 25%. I like to see 50%. All right, and I'm going to mention a company today called Ambarella. It's part of the New America, and I don't know how many of my listeners are familiar with Ambarella. The symbol's AMBA, but we're going to go through how does that stock stack up on the checklist. But earnings per share last quarter must be up at least 25%. The next item is earnings per share change year over year. So you want a 3 to 5 year growth rate. You want them to have a proven track record in the past, plus the most recent quarter. So on the 3 to 5 year growth rate, it's got to be 25% again, or higher. Remember, the higher the better. 25 is a minimum cutoff. All right, so that's another item on the checklist. Now, if I'm going too fast for you and you can't write it all down, I'm going to go over it again. Repetition is the mother of skill, but I wanted to spend this hour today talking about how I go through and analyze stock ideas so that I try to find myself with the very best stocks. Now, if you've listened to me for the last month, I've given out 7 or 8 names on this show, and you do the math, all right? 6 or 7 of them are up, 15 or 20% in the last month alone. Okay, so if you're not making 20 or 25% in any one good market year, then you really need to improve, in my opinion. All right, so the next item on the checklist is, what are the estimates for the current quarter? They have to be at least 25%. That's another item on the checklist. You want to see what the estimates are versus for this current quarter, and they got to be up 25%. Now, the next item on the checklist is, ask yourself, have the earnings per share percentage increases in the last 3 quarters, have they accelerated? Yes or no? Okay, that's another item on the checklist. Now remember, the more of these items that you have that are all highly positive and accelerating, the better chances are that you have the next Microsoft or the next Home Depot. So you want the earnings per share in the last 3 quarters to be accelerating. The next item is the estimate for the current year. Is it up at least 25%? Again, the higher the better, but 25% is a minimum cutoff, all right? So that's another item on the checklist. The average of the earnings per share percentages in the last 3 quarters, they should be at least 25% or more. Now that's a yes or a no. Have the earnings per share percentage increases in the last 3 quarters averaged up 25% or more. So you take the last quarter, the prior quarter, and then you add them up and divide them by 3. They must average 25%. That's another item on the list. Now remember, this is professional, detailed information, friends, so I hope you're writing this down. I'm going to go over it again, but the next item is how much were the earnings up in the current quarter versus what was the estimate? Now, let me give you an example. Last quarter, Michael Kors had an earnings estimate of 40 cents. And when they reported their earnings, it came in at 64 cents. So how much were the earnings up in the current quarter versus the estimate? For Michael Kors, they were up 60% above the estimate. So that's a number you want to check. What were the earnings in the most recent quarter versus the estimate? All right, and like I said, Michael Kors was up over 60% higher than the estimate. But that's what you're looking for. You want to make sure that at least it beat expectations and that the growth is high. Now, another item is we want to check the sales in the last 2 quarters. They got to be up 25% or more. Remember, the bigger, the better. You want big earnings and big sales, and you want them to be accelerating. All right, these are all highly positive indications that you have a real leader and a crack at real price appreciation, not 5 or 6% a year. I'm talking about real appreciation, big leaders. All right. Now, sales have to be up in the last 2 quarters 25%. Write that down. That's another item on the checklist. Now, another item is, are the sales accelerating for the last 3 quarters. That'd be a yes or a no. So you take the last 3 quarters. If it's 10, 20, 30, that'd be accelerating. That's an item you want to check off. Now, I want the stock to be in the top 50 groups out of the 197 groups that IBD tracks. So I'm dealing with the top 50 industry groups, all right? You want to buy the best stocks in the best industries. Right now, biotech's one of the best industries, and Celgene is probably one of the best stocks, but I like to find stocks that are in the top 50 groups. Now, you can find that ranking every day in Investors Daily, and you can see what are the top groups and which stocks in those groups are moving. All right, another item on the checklist, the price has to be above $15 a share. If it's less than that, I'm not interested. I don't want to deal in the junk pile. So here's another item for your checklist. The stock must be $15 a share. If it's not, don't consider it. All right? The next item is return on equity. All right? You want return on equity to be 17% or more. Now remember, this is a critical measurement of profitability of a company. Return on equity. It must be at least 17% or more. Now, I like the companies that are showing 30, 40, 50% return on equity. Remember, the bigger, the better. And it's really good if it's accelerating. You'd want to note that as well. Okay, Michael Kors has a 58% return on equity. I believe Ambarella has a 50% plus return on equity. We'll get to that in a moment. The next item is you want to check the pre-tax margins and make sure they're about 20% at least. And you want them to be increasing over the last couple of years. Okay? Next item on the list, I know this is a lot, but selecting an outstanding stock is not about having 1 or 2 items correct, listeners. It's about having 10, 20, or 30 different items that are all highly positive. All right? And I'm giving you these exact items to look for. Right? This is how the professionals do it. This way you don't need inside information. You don't need to know, something that nobody else does so you can gain an edge. Let's just look at the facts. And these are raw data. It's a yes or no, and see how your stock stacks up. Now, if you're writing these down, you take your portfolio and you go through them one by one. Get out the paper. Or go to investors.com. The best way to track all this, in my opinion, is really to subscribe to MarketSmith. It's the ultimate software tool. All the data is institutional, and it's everything I'm talking about right now. That's marketsmith.com. I'm sure I think you can get a 3-week trial for like $20. But if you're serious about investing, you need to plug into this information. Remember, I'm giving you professional, detailed information. I'm educating you on how you can get better. I'm not giving you my opinion or what I think or, what's the beta on this or that. These are data points that you absolutely need to be aware of in every stock you're picking, all right? We're trying to find the truly big leaders, all right? The ones that have the real horsepower. Now, the next item on my checklist is the up-down volume. And that is a rating that's only in the paper, and it tells you if the stock's under accumulation by professionals or not. Now, I like to see it to be at least 1.0 or higher. So the up-down volume that's on the checklist must be 1.0 or more. All right, another item on the list would be, does the stock have liquidity? Now, if you're a smaller investor, you don't really care if it's trading 500,000 shares a day, but most institutions want to buy stocks that are trading at least 500,000. More like 1 million is better because so they can move in and out of bigger positions easier. So one of my items on my checklist is, does the 50-day average trading volume at least 500,000 shares? Yes or no? All right. Then you want to look at a chart and find out, is it in a base or not? That'd be a yes or no. Is the stock going sideways for 5 to 8 weeks at a minimum 5 weeks, okay? If it's not going sideways for 5 weeks, then it's not in a base. You should probably leave it alone and wait for it to form out a pattern that you can recognize. The next item on my list would be, is the stock less than 5% extended from a proper buy point? All right, if it's past 5 or 10%, I don't want to buy it. I don't want to chase stocks. I want to buy it exactly at the buy point. All right, so there's like 25 different items that I've just gone over, friends. They're critical measurements, listeners. This way you don't need anyone's opinion about the stock. These are all the critical items that the best professionals are looking at. And they're not looking at the PE ratio. They're more concerned with what are the earnings? What are the sales? Have they got some new product that's selling like crazy? More of the fundamental data. Remember, in the beginning when you're buying a stock, the fundamentals are critical. Now, when you go to sell a stock, you can't use fundamentals for that. You have to learn how to read a chart. And you have to know what the signs to look for to tell you that a stock's being distributed. Now, that's a whole nother show, but for now, these are 25 different items that are critical. I hope you've written them down. I'm going to go over them again if you haven't, but the best pros are using this information. Now, you can go, once you go through the checklist, all right, now this is the next piece of the pie, all right? So you go through the checklist, and let's say you got 15 out of 20 items that are correct and highly positive. That's real good. Now you want to go to investors.com and search their site and read about the company. See if there's a story that's on it. All right, you can run a search on the site and type in the symbol and see if there's any stories on it. Now, I'm going to take a break, but when I come back, I'm going to read you a story about a current model that I think looks really good, and it's in a proper area that has all the characteristics. I'm going to read the story to you so you can get an idea of how you put all these things together to wind up with some of the better stocks. All right, this is Joe Gilbert. I'm an institutional stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities, and I'm a 27-year veteran warrior in the battle for investment survival. Stick with me. We'll be right back after this quick break on how to invest in a new America. Investors, do you know what a successful stock looks like before it takes off in price? Studying models of past big winners can give you a much clearer picture of what you're looking for in future potential big winners. Hi, I'm Joe Gilbert, a stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities in Irvine, California. How are you going to know if a stock you're considering to buy right now could be a future big winner if you don't know what these great winners of the past look like? Make sense? Call me at 888-668-9562 for a free copy of my model book I call Profiles of a New America. If you're unhappy with your broker and you want to work with a new broker who has 27 years of battlefield experience, as well as some fresh ideas to help get you back on track, then call me at 888-668-9562 or log on at howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. If what you're doing isn't working, then try my fresh ideas and a great new system. And don't forget to tune in every day for How to Invest in a New America from 4 to 5, right here on 1510 AM, Financial News and Talk. Newport Coast Securities, member FINRA, SIPC.
This is Financial News and Talk.
Markets, business, and the latest information on Bloomberg. There's absolutely no alternative.
AM 1450, AM 1510.
Investors, do you know what a successful stock looks like before it has a dramatic rise in price? Knowing what to look for can definitely give you an edge. Hi, I'm Joe Gilbert, an independent institutional stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities and host of How to Invest in a New America. For more than a quarter of a century, I've focused on a strict discipline of looking through thousands of stock charts every weekend, looking for timely ideas for my clients. If you believe in the importance of a disciplined approach that combines fresh new idea generation, managed with passion and focus, then call me at 888-668-9562 and experience the difference for yourself. Again, if you're looking for a new broker who can help you navigate the ups and downs of the market and you want experience, discipline, passion, and focus, then I'm your man. Call me at 888-668-9562 and find out what my 27 years of battlefield experience can do for you. My direct helpline is 888-668-9562. I'm Joe Gilbert, a licensed representative with Newport Coast Securities, encouraging you to get educated and go for it. Securities offered through Newport Coast Securities, member FINRA, SIPC. Again, How to Invest in a New America. I'm your host, Joe Gilbert. Listeners, I went through a checklist in the first part of this show. You want to go and look at your stocks and run them through the checklist and see how it stacks up. Now, everything I'm telling you to look for, I hope it's not discouraging you. I'm trying to encourage you on how you can get better at this. But If it's discouraging you because you don't have the time or the inclination to do any of the stuff I'm telling you that you absolutely must do if you want to be successful at speculating in the market, then why not hire a professional? Someone who's going through all the data for you. Someone who knows how to select a big leader. And I've given you 7 or 8 examples on the show of ideas over the last month. Most of them have been working out. All right, if it sounds like I know what I'm talking about, it's because I do. I've been doing this for 27 years, and I'm very good at teaching people. Now, I have a seminar that I'm doing for free every Saturday morning. If you want to get better at this, come to the seminar. You can call my office or log on to the website. But if you don't have the time to do it all, why not work with someone who is doing it so that you can reap all the benefits of his labor except for your account? Now, I'm available if you need that help. I've got 27 years experience. You can call my office at 888-668-9562. Again, if you want to work with a new broker, if you want to work with someone who knows what they're doing and knows how to pick stocks, you can call my office at 888-668-9562. I'm doing free seminars. I'm giving you a lot of educational content. Remember, this show is not like anything else you listen to on the radio. This is about how to do it, all right? And you're not going to hear other people telling you that. And I'm doing seminars, and I'm giving out tons of educational content for you if you want to learn, all right? But if you don't and you want a professional's help, you can call me at 888-668-9562. Now, I did want to mention, before I go any further, a current idea or an example. Let's call it a model. It's certainly not a recommendation. I don't want you to just go out and buy this stock, but take a look at it. Go look at the chart. Go on investors.com. Read the story. The name of the company is called Ambarella. That symbol is Apple, Mary, Bravo, Apple. Ambarella. How many of my listeners have heard about it? Now, this just came public last October, so it's only been out for about, 8 or 9 months. But the stock's carved out a perfect base on top of a base pattern. Now, let's go through the checklist a little bit so we can just know what kind of company this is. All right, it has a 97 earnings per share rank. It has a 98 relative strength rank. Its accumulation distribution rating is a B+. It has a 58% 5-year growth rate, 38% return on equity. There's only 13 million shares in the float, and the average daily trading volume is 676,000 shares per day. Now, let's look at the last 4 quarters of earnings, all right? They were up 100%, 100%, 36%, and in the most recent quarter, they had an 80% gain. Now, remember, on the checklist, I said you want to average the last 3 quarters and make them be at least 25%. So if we average Ambarella's last 3 quarters at 100, 36, and 50, we come up with 186, which gives it 62% average earnings increase in the last 3 quarters. So that'd be a yes on the checklist, and better than 50%, which is what I look for. Now, I bought this stock today, I want my listeners to know, but I don't want you to go out and buy it without doing any research. Do your homework. And if you're not going to do your homework, don't buy it, all right? Don't be a tip taker. If you do that, you're being what Jesse Livermore called a first-class sucker. And I don't want my listeners to be a first-class suckers and tip takers. I want them to be better educated and more informed, all right? So we're going through a checklist on Ambarella. It's a current model. It's not too far extended in my view. Now, the sales in the last, let's go 5 quarters back. They were plus 3%, plus 11%, plus 20%, plus 26%. So you see how they've been accelerating? Now, the last 2 quarters were up 24 and 28%. But you get the idea. If you average the last 3 quarters, you're coming out better than 25%. And in the most recent 6 quarters, they had a period of 4 quarters of acceleration. So that's highly positive. All right, now it has 8% mutual funds. Last quarter, it went from 51 to 67 different mutual funds. So it had a 30% increase in the most recent quarter in new elephants who stepped into the bathtub. Now, of course, if you look at this stock, it might look too high to you, but it's just coming out of a perfect base on top of a base pattern. It's in a strong group with another leader called ARM Holdings that's confirming its strength. Now, listeners, Ambarella has no debt. Now, I wanted to go through this with you because here's a current example, and this is how I do it. Now, if you go on investors.com and you search for it, there's a New America story on it. And it says, like high-definition cameras as customers sell, Chief Executive Fermi Wang has an ultra-sharp focus. Now, Fermi Wang is part of the inventors and innovators and entrepreneurs that I talk about in the New America. They just keep coming. Here's a brand new name that I'm mentioning to you. Newly public Ambarella, that's AMBA. It's a leading developer of low-power, high-definition video compression and imaging processing semiconductor chips. Basically, they're systems on a chip, and their products are used in all sorts of cameras, including wearable sports cameras, security internet protocol cameras, digital still cameras, and automotive video recorders. Their technology is also used in TV broadcasting, with programs being transmitted worldwide using Ambarella's compression chips. It's a system on a chip. They design high-definition video processing, imaging processing, audio processing, and system functions onto a single chip to deliver very high video and image quality. Now, various functions and have low battery power consumption. All right, it's a pretty interesting story so far. One of Ambarella's key customers is GoPro, which uses its chip design in wearable sports action cameras. Now, the stock came public in October last year, and it has enjoyed an impressive run ever since, with 2 quarters of double-digit sales and earnings growth. In the most recent quarter that ended January 30, profits surged 80%, while sales climbed 28%. Now, the CEO says GoPro wearable sports camera line is the hottest seller among products using Ambarella's chips. GoPro's cameras let skiers, surfers, and other sports enthusiasts record their activities as they experience them. Now, Ambarella is a sole supplier of video chips to GoPro. So when GoPro sales go up, so do Ambarella's. Now, another fast-growing market for them. Now, I'm going through this because I want you to know the story on what they do. You got to know what you own, okay? So they do fast-growing is internet protocol security cameras, such as the one you find in airport and banks. The market for that contributed strong margin and sales gains in the fourth quarter. But judging from the CEO's growth strategy, he's not resting on his laurels. He has a sharp focus on gaining more mileage for the company's technology. Now, that's the stuff I like to hear about in a company that I'm looking at buying that's growing 58% a year with a 50% return on equity and no debt. All right, so this is a real market leader. That's a brand new name. It just came out. I'm sure most of my callers or my listeners are not real familiar with it. But this is what we're going to talk about now. Now, one hot prospect is a new type of wearable camera. Ambarella has developed a reference design for a new category of wearable cameras the size of a quarter. All right, the wearable cameras can be used in a variety of applications, such as police and firefighters, or for people who want to record continuously while they're on vacation, or even brides who put them on their bouquets to record their trips down the aisle. Pretty unique stuff. As Ambarella is able to analyze the data captured in the video, customer service people at large department and other stores might wear them to record customer transactions and to analyze how much time customers spend looking at certain items. Interesting stuff. All right. Now, the CEO isn't the only one focused on Ambarella's growth. Now, this is a New America story, friends. Ambarella's stock price has doubled since it came out of the gate when it came public. From Nicholas, analyst Kevin Cassidy says Ambarella got a fairly subdued reception in the market when it came out with its IPO. The IPO price was $6. Following two good quarters, investors have gotten more comfortable that the company will be around for a while. Listen, folks, this company has a 3-year lead on any of the competition. All right, their strength lies in their experienced team and their technology, and their strength is found. Our strength is our founding team that has been working on video products and video design for more than 20 years. All right, the core technology is the image and video processing algorithms. They allow us to build a central processing unit architecture to provide outstanding video quality and compression efficiency and low power consumption. He attributes Ambarella's strong growth to the fact that Ambarella focuses on markets where it can differentiate its products from others and where it can use its experience in video compression. Now, analysts expect Ambarella to see a 5% increase in the current earnings per share at 83 cents for the year. They see it gaining momentum with a 30% jump next year and 46% the following year. The secular trend towards video content continues to evolve and spread, and the company is optimistic about growing along with that. The common link is the desire to create high-quality video and share it. All right, so that's some of the story on Ambarella. It's a leader in the video processing field. All right, it's a semiconductor play on increasing video content generation from portable devices. The company makes chips that enable significant innovation in video camera markets, and they make chips for smaller video cameras that are easy to use and wearable. So that's a story on AMBA, and it fits into the checklist. All right, let's take another quick break. When we come back, I'm going to run Michael Kors through that checklist, and I'll review some of these items again. You're listening to Joe Gilbert. This is How to Invest in a New America, Southern California's newest innovation in talk radio education. We'll be right back. Don't touch the dial. Investors, do you know what a successful stock looks like before it has a dramatic rise in price? Knowing what to look for can definitely give you an edge. Hi, I'm Joe Gilbert, an independent institutional stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities and host of How to Invest in a New America. For more than a quarter of a century, I've focused on a strict discipline of looking through thousands of stock charts every weekend, looking for timely ideas for my clients. If you believe in the importance of a disciplined approach that combines fresh new idea generation, managed with passion and focus, then call me at 888-668-9562 and experience the difference for yourself. Again, if you're looking for a new broker who can help you navigate the ups and downs of the market and you want experience, discipline, passion, and focus, then I'm your man. Call me at 888-668-9562 and find out what my 27 years of battlefield experience can do for you. My direct helpline is 888-668-9562. I'm Joe Gilbert, a licensed representative with Newport Coast Securities, encouraging you to get educated and go for it. Securities offered through Newport Coast Securities, member FINRA, SIPC.
This is Financial News and Talk.
Markets, business, and the latest information. On Bloomberg, there's absolutely no alternative.
AM 1450, AM 1510.
Investors, do you know what a successful stock looks like before it takes off in price? Studying models of past big winners can give you a much clearer picture of what you're looking for in future potential big winners. Hi, I'm Joe Gilbert, a stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities in Irvine, California. How are you going to know if a stock you're considering to buy right now could be a future big winner if you don't know what these great winners of the past look like? Make sense? Call me at 888-668-9562 for a free copy of my model book I call Profiles of a New America. If you're unhappy with your broker and you want to work with a new broker who has 27 years of battlefield experience, as well as some fresh ideas to help get you back on track, then call me at 888-668-9562 or log on at howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. If what you're doing isn't working, then try my fresh ideas and a great new system. And don't forget to tune in every day for How to Invest in a New America from 4 to 5, right here on 1510 AM, Financial News and Talk. Newport Coast Securities, member FINRA, SIPC. with how to invest in a new America. I'm your host, Joe Gilbert. I'm an institutional stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities in Irvine, California. The lines are open. If you have a question, the number to call is 866-584-3434. Now, we've got a caller on the line. Welcome to the show. You're on with Joey. What can I do for you?
Hi, Joey?
Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I was in the car, so I couldn't quite get your checklist. Is there any way that I could, how could I get that checklist?
Well, I'm going to go over it again for sure, but if you want to call me in the office or go on my website, I'd be glad to send you the list. Any of the listeners, if you didn't get the checklist, call me or go on my website, email me. My email is jgilbert@ncsecurities.com. All right, if you want to email me, ma'am, I will be more than happy to send you that list. But listen in, I'm going to go through it again, and we're going to go through this over and over again in time. All right, this is what the show's all about, is learning this stuff. So I hope it's helping you.
I appreciate that. It really is. It's just a lot of information at once, you know?
No, I know, and this is what the show's all about. But I really appreciate your call. Thanks for listening. And email me or call me in the office 888-668-9562. Thanks for the call. Okay, you call me and I'll make sure you get that list. You can email me at jgilbert@ncsecurities.com, or you could log on to my website at howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. All one word, howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. And if you want to get this checklist I'm talking about, just indicate that on the website. I'd be more than happy to send it to you via email or whatever you want. All right, the lines are open. Anybody else have a question? The number to call is 866-584-3434. Now, I know what I'm giving you is a lot of detailed professional information, listeners, but this is what it takes to make money in the market. You got to learn the sound principles and methods of the CANSLIM system. So every day from 4 to 5, I'm discussing high-performance techniques and strategies that you, my listeners, can use that can help you in your own battle for investment survival. All right, hopefully what you're hearing will help you. My goal is to expand your knowledge of sound buy and sell rules, okay? You got to have a game plan, and you got to have a solid defense. Remember, live to play another day. So now's the time to start getting educated. Forget about the market's way up there and it's extended and it's going to have a correction. I hope it does have a correction, because remember, if you're an astute investor, you want corrections, because that's when all the best stocks form out perfect bases. Now, I mentioned a stock to you today called Ambarella. You can go and check it out. Look at a chart. It's got all the fundamental characteristics. The blueprint is there. It's got a unique product, these high-definition video chips. They've got a 3-year lead on their competition. It's growing 58% per year, 5 years in a row. It has a very high return on equity and no debt. All right, so this is something that you might look at that nobody else is going to be talking about. All right, but live to play another day, and it's time to get serious about the market. It's time to get educated, so that every year when the new big winners like Ambarella emerge, you'll know how to recognize them and take full advantage, okay? Be sure, ladies and gentlemen, every year there'll be a whole new crop of big winners in the market. So you got to get prepared, learn to know what to look for, so that you're ready to take full advantage. Now, we're live taking calls, 866-584-3434. Again, if you have a question about the method, the system, the general market, or a specific stock, you can call me at 866-584-3434. And I'll do my best to help you figure it out, okay? I'm your coach. You can call me at 866-584-3434. Now, what you hear on this show is hopefully new and different from what you're hearing on other shows. Listeners, I've been at this battle for 27 years now. So keep an open mind. It takes fresh thinking and new ideas to get superior performance. All right, now I'm going to go over the checklist again. I'll do it pretty quickly because we're coming up to the end of the hour. But remember, repetition's the mother of skill. And the information I'm giving you is absolutely professional, detailed information that you can use to get better results. Let's take a quick break. When I come back, I'll go over that checklist again for you. This is Joe Gilbert, and this is How to Invest in a New America. We'll be right back with more learning after a quick break on AM 1510 KSPA and AM 1450 KFSD Financial News and Talk. Investors, do you know what a successful stock looks like before it takes off in price? Studying models of past big winners can give you a much clearer picture of what you're looking for in future potential big winners. Hi, I'm Joe Gilbert, a stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities in Irvine, California. How are you going to know if a stock you're considering to buy right now could be a future big winner if you don't know what these great winners of the past look like? Make sense? Call me at 888-668-9562 for a free copy of my model book I call Profiles of a New America. If you're unhappy with your broker and you want to work with a new broker who has 27 years of battlefield experience, as well as some fresh ideas to help get you back on track, then call me at 888-668-9562 or log on at howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. If what you're doing isn't working, then try my fresh ideas and a great new system. And don't forget to tune in every day for How to Invest in a New America from 4 to 5, right here on 1510 AM Financial News and Talk. Newport Coast Securities, member FINRA SIPC.
This is Financial News and Talk.
Markets, business, and the latest information. On Bloomberg, there's absolutely no alternative.
AM 1450, AM 1510.
Investors, do you know what a successful stock looks like before it has a dramatic rise in price? Knowing what to look for can definitely give you an edge. Hi, I'm Joe Gilbert, an independent institutional stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities and host of How to Invest in a New America. For more than a quarter of a century, I've focused on a strict discipline of looking through thousands of stock charts every weekend, looking for timely ideas for my clients. If you believe in the importance of a disciplined approach that combines fresh new idea generation, managed with passion and focus, then call me at 888-668-9562 and experience the difference for yourself. Again, if you're looking for a new broker who can help you navigate the ups and downs of the market and you want experience, discipline, passion, and focus, then I'm your man. Call me at 888-668-9562 and find out what my 27 years of battlefield experience can do for you. My direct helpline is 888-668-9562. I'm Joe Gilbert, a licensed representative with Newport Coast Securities, encouraging you to get educated and go for it. Securities offered through Newport Coast Securities, member FINRA SIPC. All right, I'm back with you again. This is Joe Gilbert and How to Invest in a New America. I know a lot of the information I'm giving you is detailed, friends. It's professional, detailed information, but it's meant to empower you and give you the boldness to step onto the battlefield with real knowledge and confidence, okay? Now, I went over the checklist today. Not going to have a whole lot of time to go through the whole thing again, but I do want to mention that Ambarella is a perfect example. Go and look at it. Study the chart. I bought a lot of the stock today. Now, I'm telling you what I'm doing, but I've done my homework. Don't you go buy it just because I bought it. Go do your own homework and try to buy it as close to the buy point as you can. Now, $16 was the exact buy point, and it's right around 17 today. So it's still within a buying range, but you go check it out. The symbol is Apple, Mary, Bravo, Apple. And it's a perfect example of what this new America I'm talking about is all about. I mean, these names just come out of nowhere every year. And you can be sure every year there'll be new big winners. All right? So the checklist was meant to help you to find these types of stocks because, remember, the data is all we care about. We don't care about, someone's opinion. All right? I want to know facts. I'm giving you 20 or 25 different facts to check out and make sure they're all there. All right, the checklist is you want as many positive elements as you can find. And remember, the more of these highly positive things you get, the better your chances are you might be finding the next Microsoft. And they come every year. This AMBA I'm talking about is a perfect example of that. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Michael Kors to you, symbol KORS. I've been buying this stock for a while. I think it's in a little handle area right now. Go and check it out. It has a 58% 5-year growth rate. Excuse me. And it has a 57% return on equity with no debt. And it has 7 big quarters of earnings. You know, they have a very, they're opening 65 or 75 new stores every year. And the earnings are coming out Wednesday, a week from tomorrow. But KORS, that's another idea that fits all the blueprint of what I'm talking about in the new America. Now, I'll briefly go back through some of this checklist, but don't worry. If you didn't get it, you can call my office, 888-668-9562. If you want to get the checklist. Now, this is absolutely routine for me, and it needs to be that way for you if you're serious about picking stocks. I'm a good stock picker. Over the last month, I've given you 7 or 8 ideas, and you got a flavor of what the future of this show is going to be like. But here's some things on the checklist I'll go over real quickly. You want the earnings per share rank to be up at least 75 or higher. I'm sorry. The earnings per share rank needs to be at least 80. EPS rank. The relative strength needs to be at least 75 or higher. The SMR rating has to be an A or a B, nothing less than an A or a B. All right, remember, we want the very best. Accumulation distribution rating is an A. Earnings last quarter versus a year ago, they must be up 25%. And you want to average the last 3 quarters of earnings and make sure that average is up 25%. Just like I told you with the Ambarella, their average was 62%. Now, you want to make sure the 3 to 5 year growth rate's 25% or higher. 25% is the cutoff. You want to make sure the estimates in the current quarter are up 25% and that the earnings have accelerated for the last 3 quarters, yes or no? Is the estimate for the current quarter up 25%? How much were the earnings up in the most recent quarter versus estimate? Okay. Now, Coors had a 60% earnings increase above the estimate. The estimate was for 40, and they came in at 64 cents, which was over 100% for that. That's KORS. Now, okay, so we're coming up to the end of the hour. Friends, I'll go over this list again, but if you missed it, you can call the office. If you want to go to the seminars on Saturday, I've got a lot of education content and a lot of things I can give you to help you learn. But if you're not willing to do all that work and you want to work with a broker who knows what he's talking about, I'm sure you can tell I do know what I'm talking about. I'm a professional. I'm available for help if you need a new broker. You can call my office, 888-668-9562. You can log on to the internet at howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. I'm going to have all my shows archived so you can listen at your convenience. That's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in and learning along with me. The best investors, an educated and informed investor. So listen in every day and learn with the rest of us. See you tomorrow for another education fest I call How to Invest in a New America, right here on the radio. After 10 years and 2 very brutal bear markets, I believe now is the time to take hold of your financial future and start educating yourself. Hi, I'm Joseph Gilbert, an institutional stockbroker with Newport Coast Securities in Irvine, California, and host of How to Invest in a New America, heard daily from 4 to 5 here on KSPA and KFSD. Unprecedented volatility has paralyzed investors. In fact, there are millions of investors just sitting on the sidelines watching as literally a parade of financial opportunities pass them by. For 27 years, I've been actively trading and advising both institutional and individual investors to my techno-fundamental approach. If you're having a tough time with the stock market and you need a new trading partner with some fresh ideas to help get you back on track, then call me at 888-668-9562 or log on at howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. The number again is 888-668-9562 or howtoinvestinanewamerica.com. Call me and let me help you get back on track. Newport Coast Securities, member FINRA, SIPC.
Financial news and talk. AM 1450 KFSD Escondido. AM 1510 KSPA Ontario. Astor Broadcast Group stations.